promise I'm going to try to keep this short. I need to shave. Um, I hate to be the PD Downer here. You know, I'm a guy, so obviously I can't be a Debbie Downer. but I just saw somewhere scanning through YouTube. I didn't get to watch the video because I was watching another video, but I was scanning through and I saw a report that the real number of unemployed, which is including the temporary employed, which makes up the majority of this number, but the real unemployed rate now is 50 million people. The banks have done or the Fed has done their stress tests on the banks, and they issued a memorandum, a issued guidance for the banks that they have to stop their dividends and they can't do no stock buybacks, and that's because of the stress test, which came back really worrisome news apparently. um I remember the Great Recession very clearly. I remember the hell that me and my ex-wife went through. Despite all the hell that she put me through, I remember all the hell we went through over that. And I've been watching it close. I mean, I've been dabbling in the stock market, but I've only been using coffee money. Whatever is left over from my budget of the day, the next day, that's what I use to put into my stocks and everything. One thing I have not touched the whole time is anything in the banking and financial institutions. There's going to be a trigger come September. There's going to be a trigger. That's undeniable because of the stimulus. There's about 20 million people permanently unemployed because of the virus. There's about 30 million more people temporarily unemployed, but that temporary unemployment is being sustained through businesses through that stimulus. So they're technically not unemployed. They're just temporarily unemployed, but they're not actually considered unemployed. So we got a total of 50 million people unemployed right now. We know for sure the airlines are going to be laying off people when that stimulus money runs out. A lot of airlines have already said this. We know there's businesses that aren't going to be able to recover from this virus. You have Apple stores closing. You have GNC declaring bankruptcy and closing stores. You have AMC movie theaters, which isn't that the largest one in the country? Is it the second largest? It's either the largest or the second largest movie chain in the country, saying they don't think they can survive this virus. They've already declared bankruptcy, but they've managed to restructure where they can get through a little bit further, but they're not sure even. They've already publicly admitted that they don't know if they can survive the virus. You have Hertz, which you would think Hertz would be able to put in new upper management, CEO and directors and things like that, and be able to find money to carry them through, because Hertz is the oldest car rental chain in the United States. I mean, it's as long as cars have been here, Hertz has been here. I mean, when you think car rentals, I mean, everybody, that's the first, the majority of people, even if you're not going to rent a car, if you ask somebody to name a car rental company, I'm sure that would be the number one answer is Hertz. I mean, we all know Avis and Budget, and, you know, like me, I grew up in the Northeast, so I know the smaller companies like Rent a Wreck. But Hertz is the father of the car rental industry. That's the father of it. That's what started the whole car rental industry. It started with Hertz. Talking over 100 years. And they're going bankrupt. They're closing everything down. You have big trucking companies, not just mom and pop companies, but you have big trucking companies that even before the virus have been struggling and shutting down because of the regulatory issues. Then you throw this coronavirus, the virus on top of it, and you have a lot of other big companies that are shutting down. And you have layoffs in the plans for after September that aren't just for your lower working class and your middle working class. There are layoffs in the plans and in the works and already been announced that they'll be coming for major executive positions. You're talking six figure positions, mid and high six figure positions, even maybe even some seven figure positions that they're going to be out of a job come September and October. Companies have already announced this. When that trigger comes in September, people are losing jobs. The question is, how many people are going to lose their jobs? And my belief is it's going to be of these temporary layoffs. My belief is that at least 1/3 of them will become permanent layoffs. And if the 20 million permanent layoffs that now exist don't take a massive recoup, let's say you only get 5 or 6 million of them, then you're looking at a minimum of 25 million people going to be permanently unemployed come September, somewhere through mid-September into October. And if these 20 million people, if the majority of them don't get back to work, then you're looking at 30 to 35 million people are going to be permanently laid off come mid-September through October. Some of the states that will take the hardest hits are the states with the highest regulatory fees and taxes and things like that. So states like California and New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Connecticut, Illinois. I'm contracted in Illinois. Scary thought. But that's going to have its own ripple effect because that's going to add to these states that are already struggling with tax revenue because they've taken such a hit to tax revenue and now they're dealing with such a high amount of unemployment. And come September, you're going to be dealing with more unemployment, which is going to cause a larger decrease in tax revenue. which will lead to more unemployment because of state employees being laid off, which will compound the issue that's already going to be put in place if we wind up with the worst case scenario on that trigger, which is going to be the massive wave that's already going to be in place of foreclosures, credit card defaults, auto loan defaults, business loan defaults. And that's all going to boil over into the financial sector. And then that all boils over into Wall Street. Then that all boils over into more layoffs. I hate to be the PD Downer here, but it doesn't look good. That report in that report by the Fed and the order that the Fed put out to the banks, that's a really bad sign. I mean, if they put it out as a suggestion, then it'd be something to say, okay, take a deep breath and just think about it. But okay. But because they're ordering it, now that's take a deep breath and get ready for the wave to come over your head. The question is, how big is the wave going to be? But it's not a good sign. We're already on the brink of being where we were in the Great Recession. I mean, the step that the Fed stepped in this time, and they've managed to cushion that blow. So even though our unemployment numbers realistically are where they were during the Great Recession, we're not feeling the financial strain as a population that we felt in the Great Recession. But it's coming. And I'm not trying to be a doomsayer because I still have hopes it won't be as bad as I see it could be. But I remember what happened in the Great Recession. Me and my ex wife, we went through that head on. I mean, we were slammed right into the wall. And so I ever since then, I've always paid attention to what's going on with the economy, and it's always been there in the back of my mind. Okay, what's the odds of the worst case? And it's always been really low. But I put it to you this way here: I see it at a better than 50% chance. If I was gonna put odds on it, I'd put it at about a 65-70% chance right now because of the news that the Fed put out to the banks. You have to watch what's going on in China real close right now because that's going to possibly disrupt the production lines again with the second breakout. If that happens, move them odds up to move them odds up about 10 percentage points. Then you're looking at an 80% chance. That's not 70%. I'm watching it. 80% I'm going to start sweating. One of my advantages is that, but depending on how fast it happens, I'll have a little bit of a heads up because I'll see it coming. Because one of the marvelous things about being in the trucking industry is we tend to be ahead of the economy when it comes to a slowdown and a pickup. Right now, I can tell you things, and I pretty much hit it on the head last time I made the prediction based on what was happening here in the industry. I was about a week and a half off. I said, in 3 to 4 weeks, the economy would start picking up, and it actually picked up in about 2 weeks from when I said that. They started reporting good news in the economy. But it all was based on what was going on here in the trucking industry. I'd much rather have that 4 week warning than that 2 week warning, no, going the other way. I mean, but right now I don't see things slowing down in the trucking industry. So that's a good sign. I still see things picking up. That's a good sign. But if you want it, you want a warning to the what's coming in the economy. Start finding websites where you can follow shipping rates. When you see shipping rates fall 30 and 40%, start worrying.